Hi, everyone, and welcome to the last webinars of the manufacturers series that we have been hosting since June. My name is Claire Bélanger-Parker, and I am the Executive Director of the Crane Rental Association of Canada. As you know, these webinars have been recorded and this latest webinar will be available on our YouTube channel in a few days. So I welcome you to actually review it once you have a chance later on. As being the last webinar of the year, and you have heard us over the last few months, as we journey toward reconciliation, we acknowledge that our office is situated on Treaty 4 land, the traditional territory of the Cree, the Soto, the Ojibwe, Lakota, Nakota, Dakota, and homeland of the Métis. In Canada, there are more than 600 First Nation communities that represent 50 nations. We acknowledge the First Nations, the Métis, and Inuit, 3 distinct peoples with unique histories, languages, cultural practices, and spiritual beliefs. Today, I'm excited because I get to meet someone new that I haven't had a pleasure to meet at the Crane Rental Association of Canada's past conference. His name is Simon Schuster. Simon graduated in 2018 in industrial engineers and began his career at Liebherr in early 2019. Furthering his career development with Liebherr, he started in sales in 2020 as area sales manager for Canada and the United States. Simon is based in Hechingen, Germany. Welcome, Simon.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon to you guys.
Good evening to you, I hear. It's 7 p.m., right?
That's right, yeah. Actually a bit late, but I'm happy to be here, yeah.
Oh, that's terrific, Simon. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great journey for me as the association executive to get to know people from all over the world and certainly learn about the great products. So without further ado, Simon, I'm turning this virtual platform over to you.
Thank you very much, Claire. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon from Germany. We highly appreciate the opportunity to talk today to all of our friends and members of the CRAC conference to share the latest information about Liebherr in Hechingen, Liebherr in Canada, and also our products. Before we start, we would like to express our sincere thanks to Claire and her team in preparing and hosting these webinars series. It goes without saying that all of us would rather have these meetings in a face-to-face style, because these meetings actually are shaping our industry and it helps us to create business relationships. However, in times like this, with the pandemic situation still ongoing, we think it's a good alternative actually to keep in touch with you guys and to share the latest information about Liebherr with you. Introduction was actually done by Claire already. So as Claire mentioned, I started in 2019 with Liebherr as a trainee. So I did a training program in different departments and different areas of Liebherr before I started in 2020 as an area sales manager for Canada and the United States. Speaking for myself, I have not been part of the conference so far and could not attend any of the meetings, basically because of COVID. So I'm certainly looking forward to meet you guys at some point and yeah, to meet you in person at some point, yeah. Some of you guys I have been able to meet back in 2019 when I did my very first trip to Canada, which was very exciting for me to see that country actually and to meet customers of ours in Canada also. As I'm not doing this presentation myself today, I would like to hand over to Lee, who please, Lee, introduce yourself also.
Thank you, Simon. Lee Spalding with Liebherr Canada. I am the salesperson for Eastern Canada, which is basically Manitoba to Newfoundland. Been with Liebherr since 2016, and been in the crane industry before that, and all the way back. My father was a crane operator when I was a kid, so I used to run all over cranes from a very young age. So as Simon said, we'd like to thank Claire for having us and being able to do this. So what do you say we get started, Simon?
Yep, thank you very much, Lee. So just to give you a brief overview of what we would like to cover today with you, we would like to start with a brief introduction of what Liebherr is doing and who we actually are. After that, we would like to concentrate on Liebherr in Ehingen as a crane manufacturer. Afterwards, Lee will talk about Liebherr and the Canadian setup in Canada actually. In the fourth step, we would like to talk about some new crane developments and crane designs of Liebherr before we would like to close our presentation in talking about trends such as sustainability and digitization, which we at Liebherr consider a huge challenge, but also a good chance to even improve our product and services towards our customers. So most of you guys most probably know Liebherr from the crane business and crane industry. However, Liebherr is way more than only a crane manufacturer. So Liebherr is a family-run business in the third generation. We have been founded back in 1949 in Kirchdorf, which is a city in the southern part of Germany. The founder of Liebherr was Mr. Hans Liebherr. We actually are doing business, as said, in more industries than only the crane industry. So to give you a few examples, we are doing business in the earth moving, in the mining, in concrete mixing. We are supplying components, and we are also doing, surprisingly enough, which is not as common, let's say, in the hotel industry actually. With over 140 branches worldwide, which can be divided into production sites and also sales and service branches. We have a global setup which allows us to stand for continuity and for partnership with our customers and all our partners. With a workforce of globally close to 50,000 employees, we have been able to achieve a turnover of more than 10 billion euros in 2020. And in challenging years like we are facing them at the moment, it was and is even more important for us to act responsible and to act as pragmatic as possible, and to also always have our mission in mind, which is to keep the shop running in the end. Having talked about Liebherr in general, I would now like to talk about Liebherr in Ehingen and concentrate on Liebherr as a mobile and crawler crane manufacturer. So Liebherr in Ehingen was founded in 1969, also in the southern part of Germany. So for those of you who have not been in Ehingen so far, Ehingen is not too far away from Munich, so it's 2.5 hours driving distance to Munich. We have, in the meantime, more than 4,000 employees in Ehingen, and we are all working on our common goal to design and assemble very top-class products and mobile and crawler cranes, actually, to supply these products to our customers all over the world, and to provide a very customer-oriented service for our products also. The products we are manufacturing in Ehingen can mainly be divided into 4 groups. Our all-terrains, which we call in Ehingen LTMs, so the Liebherr telescopic mobile cranes. We do have 27 different crane models of these LTMs, starting at a capacity of 30 ton on 2 axles, going up to a capacity of 1,200 ton on 9 axles. The other product group on tires are our LRTs. We have currently 2 crane models in our LRT fleet, which is a 90 ton and a 100 ton machine. Speaking for our cranes on crawler tracks, we distinguish between the lattice boom cranes and the telescopic boom cranes. So speaking for the lattice boom cranes, we do have 11 different crane models, starting at a capacity of 350 ton, up to a capacity of 3,000 ton. For the LTRs, which means Liebherr telescopic Raupenkran, translated, that means crawler crane. We do have 4 different crane models starting at 40 ton and going up to a capacity of 220 ton. As mentioned earlier, we would also like to talk about our latest developments and lately released crane types. But first, we thought it's a good idea to show you some pictures of our facility in Ehingen, because I guess some of you most probably had the opportunity to travel to Ehingen, to make the trip to Ehingen and see our facility. But yeah, with the ongoing COVID situation, most of you will not have been here since 2019. And since then, actually, there was quite a development, and we would like to share those pictures with you. So on this picture, you can see our facility in Ehingen. We do have several pre-assembly halls, as well as final assembly halls for our mobile and crawler cranes. As you can see, there's also huge testing areas, because each of our cranes which leaves the factory is tested prior to leaving. Obviously, in our main factory in Ehingen, we also have administration buildings where our engineering department, several sales departments, marketing, HR, shipping departments, you name them, all of them are based here. And also, of course, our customer service. Speaking of the customer service, on this detail, you can see our new customer service building. So the customer service extension is for us a logical step to the increasing number of cranes we are delivering globally. And it also should be the answer to trends we are currently seeing, such as the digitization and the sustainability thoughts all over the world. This is not the only investment which we are currently doing. So we are also building 2 new warehouses. On this detail in yellow, you can see the warehouse which is assigned to our assembly line. And this warehouse is there in order to improve the situation with parts in the end, and to have a good setup when it comes to supply chain issues and bottlenecks, as some of them can be seen nowadays, and we would like to have an answer for that in the future also. The second warehouse, which is under construction these days, is our warehouse for after-sale business. So in the future, we will actually really divide between the warehouses and the stock level for our after-sales business and our serial production. That in the end will lead to a better parts availability, both in Ehingen, but especially in all over the world, and for our customers and our branches in the end. For those of you who are very familiar with our setup in Ehingen and the factory, you may have noticed that this new building is actually where our repair center used to be. So this repair center we actually built a new repair center, which is close by the actual factory in Ehingen. And this repair center is basically the answer to the increased used crane business, which we are currently seeing. And the used crane business obviously is also a very important part of our business model in Ehingen and all over the world. And actually this repair center should in the future help us to improve and to help us with one of our main issues we actually have in Ehingen today, which is the lack of space. So we really are struggling at the moment to find place for our parts and for finished cranes. And this new building and the new space we got there will certainly improve the situation here. With these impressions and pictures of Ehingen, I would like to hand over to Lee, who now will present you the Canadian setup of Liebherr.
Thank you, Simon. As we go to Liebherr in Canada, you just hit me there, Simon. Yep. So here we go. We have Canada. We have 10 locations that literally stretch from coast to coast, right from St. John's, Newfoundland to Richmond, BC. And so that covers 6 time zones. We have a newer branch that's in Sudbury and one in Dolbeau. We are currently looking at other areas to expand that will likely happen in the near future. Burlington is the head office, as many of you may know. It houses our admin, sales, service, and parts, warehouses and parts. Atchison is also a large facility out there that carries a lot of spare parts. And having 10 locations right across Canada really helps us with spare parts availability. And of course, Liebherr being privately owned, we can still, we're not a dealership network, so we can pull from the US as well if need be. And in certain cases, we can have a 2 or 3 day delivery from Germany. The digital services are all across Canada as well. And we do training as well. So that really helps having the 10 locations with the customer satisfaction and keeping everybody happy and supplied in parts. Simon? So from Liebherr Canada, we'll introduce a few new crane types here. We'll start with the LTC, which is one of my personal favorites. They've currently listened to customer input, which Liebherr is very good at doing. It's always had a 36mm pin boom or telematic boom, and they've just released a 31-meter live boom, full power boom. So we're kind of like covering an area where people were asking for a live boom. Now you still can which a telescope with loads with the telematic boom and maneuver around, but with the live boom, of course, you have faster telescoping, max boom length at any time, and you can telescope without any interim stop. The pin boom, of course, is stronger. Max capacity is plus 7% overall. You have higher percentage on telescoping loads, and of course your max boom length is longer and a higher hook height. So it just they're listening to the customers and what they're looking for and hoping for. The other main benefit of this crane is the telescoping boom, telescoping cabin, which I just literally had a new customer have a case where they had to do indoor work and they had to lift over another piece of equipment. And without the liftable crane cabin, they wouldn't have been able to do that lift. They would have been doing it blind. But even though it was indoors, they could lift up and see their signalman clearly, and they got the job done. And they actually saved an 8-hour shift in the plant that they were in. So happy customer and happy owner as well. Another interesting fact with the LTC is now that you can not only operate the crane remotely, but you can also drive the crane remotely. This was something that came out just, I think, about 2 years ago. Of course, it drives very slowly, but it makes it easier for the operator, say indoors again in tight confined spaces where he's not sitting blind in the cabin, but can be on the ground and seeing all around the crane. From there, we have the new LTR 1040. Again, they listened to their customers, and there was a bit of a hole in the smaller size of LTR, the telescoping crawler. So being smart as they are, they basically took the LTR 1060 and downsized it to a 1040. Basically, you just have less counterweight on the rear and no car body weights, and change the charts, of course. But also at the same time, if somebody gets a 1040 and sees a need for it to be larger or need more capacity, it's actually an easy upgrade for them to upgrade from the 1040 to the 1060. And of course, with that, you have your improved travel weights to throw it on a truck. Also with Liebherr, the inclination charts are included in the programming. I know that's not always the case with some others, but in this particular crane, the charts are included up to a max of 4 degrees. Next, we'll jump to the LTM 1120 4.1. Basically, it's a long boom. It's 66 meters. They've gone from, sorry, not gone from, but they have a Vario bases included, which basically you can put all 4 outriggers at any arbitrary length, and the computer will figure out your chart. Wind speed charts, which is a bit newer. The wind speed charts are included in the load charts, make it easier again for the operators. And the hill start aid, which is, I think, almost 3 years old, but it's being put on more and more cranes now as they come out. So basically, if you're going up a hill or down a hill or forward or reverse, it doesn't matter. You can press the hill start aid button and then take your foot from the brake to the accelerator pedal, and the crane will not move at all. And as soon as you activate the accelerator pedal, the crane goes in the direction you want it to go. There's absolutely no roll at all. So another great safety feature on the Liebherr cranes. And then we'll go to the LTM 1150, which again is a 66 meter boom and a 5-axle crane. Again, Vario base. It's basically the same. The wind speed charts are included. The hill start aid are included as well. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what some of the new cranes are, the new models. And then we'll go to the next one there, Simon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lee. So for our latest development, actually the LTM 1110 5.2, we would like to show you a video where our marketing did a very good job, as I think. So, but please convince yourself. I guess the video actually speaks for itself. As said, I think it's very cool. I just want to lose a few more words about this crane type. Basically, the LTM 1110 5.2 did not change in one way. So, for example, the boom length, the counterweight, and also the equipment has not been changed from the 1110 5.1. And accordingly, the load capacity is staying the same as with the predecessor. However, what has been changed, and that is actually a major step for us in Ehingen, is the new control system, the Lycan 3. What comes with the Lycan 3, you could already see it, is our new design and the new painting, the standard painting of our crane, which does not mean that customers who had their customized painting in the past cannot get it anymore. So you will always be able to get your special paint as usual. Also, what is new to the 1110 5.2 is our completely redesigned and new driver's cap and the crane cap, as you could see also in the video. And another technical novelty with that crane is our new gearbox, the Traxxon Dynamic Perform. This will result in a very smooth driving behavior and also in a very good bearing behavior of that clutch. As you could see in the video, there's quite some more features coming with that new crane type, which I guess is very exciting to wait for that crane to be shipped for the very first time. We are also continuously developing and improving our LR fleet. The latest crane from our LRs is the LR 1700 1.0. So within the next 2 slides, I would just like to give you a brief idea and the concept of this crane also. The LR 1700 is the successor of the LR 1600-2. We basically completely redesigned the basic machine. So basically the width of the crane and also the length of the crane has been enlarged, which results in an improved crawling on wind farms and actually also improves the capacity of the crane. Another feature of the LR 1700 1.0 is the so-called always H kit. So what do we mean with an always H kit? Until now, let's say the standard was 3-meter wide boom sections at the very bottom of the crane. So the very first sections of the crane have been 3-meter wide. With the new crane type, the LR 1700, the standard now is a 3.5-meter wide boom for the first 3 sections. For those areas in the world where transportation and the measurements for these are very important, you still are able to get the crane with a 3-meter wide section, so the first 3 sections actually. But this always H kit, how we call it, will also lead to an increased capacity. So now that I talked about this capacity quite a lot, I would also like to show you a brief comparison of the LR 1700 against our LR 1600-2 and also the LR 1750-2. So in the yellow line, you can see that the new crane type actually even exceeds the LR 1750-2, which in the end means that at some point this crane type will also replace the LR 1750-2 for industry work, but especially for wind application. The LR 1700 also offers most modern and state-of-the-art derrick systems. For example, you can, as an option, have the so-called V-frame. So the V-frame actually allows the customer to infinitely adjust the ballast radius between 13 and 21 meters. Standard-wise at this LR 1700 is the so-called Vario Tray. The Vario Tray means that you can easily and quickly unpin one of the counterweight trays, which in the end results in less time what you need in order to stack and unstack counterweight slabs, and that in the end saves you a lot of time. When it comes to the economic charm of the LR 1700, it has to be mentioned that this new crane type actually uses quite a lot of the components of the LR 1600-2. So for example, the full luffing chip of the LR 1600-2 was used. Also, the counterweight is the same. The hook blocks are the same. The S intermediate sections are the same. And so is the boom head, the 600-ton boom head is also the same. So that interchangeability has quite some economic charm with it also. Liebherr is not only continuously improving and working on its crane fleet, but we are also addressing trends such as the sustainability and also the digitization. So on this slide, I would like to show you the steps which Liebherr is currently doing in order or towards a lower emission future also. Liebherr started in September 21 to use HVO as an initial filling for the fuel tank. HVO means hydrogenated vegetable oils. So that means that based on waste vegetable oils and fats, which is treated, we can use a fuel, which in the end results in way less emission. So for example, for a 5-axle machine, over its full life, you can expect, if you really work with 100% HVO, we talk about roughly 75% less CO2 emission compared to the usual diesel. Also, what will be changed in the new future is we will change to equip our cranes for the North American market with the emission stage 5. So even though the authorities in North America are not yet requiring this emission stage, we will equip our cranes with these type of engines, because in the end, it again reduces the emissions, and it is simply the state-of-the-art engine in our crane. When it comes to sustainability, Liebherr is not only looking towards our products, we are also looking in our facility and at the factory what we can do towards a lower emission and towards a sustainable way of doing business. So beginning of next year, actually, we will start to use only wind electricity out of Europe, which kind of for us is the closing of the circle, if you want to say so, because we as Liebherr are supplying quite some cranes to our customers who are dealing and doing business on wind farms and erecting wind turbines. And so for us, that is kind of a closing of the circle, actually. With that, I would like to hand over a last time to Lee. Lee will talk about the trend of the digitization and tell you something about the answer which Liebherr has for that trend.
Thank you, Simon. So digitization is becoming a bigger and bigger thing, especially in this world where we seem to be online the majority of the time, and even as far as these meetings and things like that. So Liebherr had come up with a portal called myliebherr.com, which is very, very well done. And it's basically a customer portal to the digital world. So basically, when a customer buys a crane, they can register that specific serial number on myliebherr.com, and then they literally have access to all the documents, manuals, everything that comes with the crane or used to come with the crane is available online that they can access at any time. And included with that would be a full parts list. They can order spare parts online, direct. It's really endless. There's also a training. There's a thing called data exchange where it can transfer large files that you're not capable of emailing or too large to email, which happens quite often between myself and customers where you need to exchange large files. So that's all done through there through a secure site. So eliminate spam and things like that. Also included in that, there's a really good feature called the Crane Finder, which seems from when you first look at it, it seems very simple, but I think that was the whole idea, the design behind it, and the engineers, the way they made it, it's like a simple interface. So basically you can put in your radius and height, say if you're talking to a customer, you can put in some basic information and it'll spit out every crane in the lineup that's capable of doing that lift. So behind the scenes, the engineering behind that for it to sort of cross examine all that information and load charts and everything, that's all going on behind the scenes, but yet spits out a very simple interface for the customer to understand and see what cranes can be utilized for specific lifts. And that currently is only in MyLiebherr as well. The next big thing to come out of the digitization world that Liebherr Engen's been working on is Crane Planner 2.0. Now, the original work planner that I think many people are familiar with, it was a very basic 2D operation Had all the required information and charts, everything specific to serial numbers of the cranes that customers had. And the same information is on the crane that is in Work Planner. Now with Crane Planner 2.0, they've gone to a 3D visualization, but requires no CAD software on the customer's part. So with that, you're not spending thousands of dollars in CAD software. I know there's other crane planning, Crane Planner, and other different software out there, but for Liebherr, this is a huge step. It's absolutely amazing. You should all check it out. You can import Google Maps. Now the maps are laid down as a 2D rendering on the ground, as you can see in the picture there. But you can build the buildings on top of it. You can build your own rigging, objects that you're lifting. Everything can be built and made within the software. And then it gives you absolutely every crane parameter you need, right from ground pressures, your max, the percentage of your chart you're using for a specific lift, moving the boom, changing sort of parameters, moving the crane, slewing. It's all done with a click of the mouse, and it's very intuitive, very easy to use. They've done an incredible job on it, truly. For Crane Planner 2.0, right now, originally they started with the LTM 1750, which is, they started with a very difficult crane to get it to work and get everything functioning properly. Recently, they've just released the LTM 1230, 1250, 1300, and 1450. And they all work extremely well. They're great for customers, again, to know absolutely everything about the crane. Another interesting fact I was going to touch on too is when you have all your parameters in there and say you're working on a lift for a customer, you can custom make a drawing. It's basically a 2D CAD drawing where you can customize what information you have on that drawing, and you can print that out and submit that to your customer, and your customer can submit that for whatever permits he needs, whether it's towns or engineers or anything like that. So it's very interesting. It's very well done. There's a lot more cranes coming. I think there's some more that will be released very soon. There is a trial version available that will give you more options, I guess you could say, that you can use to try. I believe it's a 30-day trial. And then there's a free version that is a 2D version. And then there's a pro version that's available. There's a cost associated with it, but it's well worth it. It's amazing 3D planner that will help any customer that has Liebherr cranes. So very excited about that, to get away from that 2D Leak-On sort of image and get into this 3D, which seems to be the way to go. And that concludes our presentation. So I'd like to thank you all for being here and for listening. And thank you to Claire for hosting and giving us the opportunity to do this. And thanks to Simon for staying up with us tonight in German time. He's well into the evening. So appreciate Simon, you being here for us with this. And thanks everyone be here. So that's it for me. Claire, back to you.
Well, we're going to have some questions, I hope. I certainly have some for you, Lee. Don't go away yet. I actually played with the myliebherr.com site yesterday. It's very user-friendly. I found it very easy to navigate. And if I can find it easy to navigate, I'm sure all your customers will too.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about the Vario Base Plus. I mean, this is a big change. You've got your outrigger going further out. Did I catch this right?
Yeah, that's right. I actually didn't touch on that. Thank you. So some of the newer cranes have, it's called not just Vario Base, now it's called Vario Base Plus. So basically the rear outriggers are now a 2-stage outrigger. The front outriggers are a single stage. So when the rear outriggers are fully extended, they're actually wider than the front, which gives it like a trapezoidal shape. What this does is when you're working over the rear of the crane, of course, you get increased capacities because there's a wider footprint, more stability. And then the interesting fact is this was never possible. Cranes only could, front and rear outriggers could only be at the same distance apart previous to technology advances like Vario Base. The only reason that is possible is because of Vario Base, and the computer is figuring out that chart. It is possible to set all 4 outriggers at the same distance. There is like a pre-programmed spot where you can put the rear outriggers to match the front outriggers. And of course, you still have the ability to put all 4 outriggers at any arbitrary length, and the computer figure out the chart. Specifically, I've had customers, say you're working on the side of a highway and, instead of blocking 2, maybe 3 lanes, you might block 1 or none at all, because your outriggers will be at 0 on one side and you can have them at 100% on the other side. That's off the highway, and you still get your full chart on that side. And that's just not possible without the technology.
Oh, that's impressive. I caught that when I was listening to your presentation. Tell me about are you replacing a crane when we're talking about the LTM 1120 4.1 and the 1150 5.3? What are you replacing in terms of cranes with these two?
Yeah. Am I going for that, Simon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah. Generally, when new crane models come out, they're replacing something. The 1120 is replacing the 1100, and the LTM 1150 is replacing the 1130. The 1130 has been a very successful crane, but as all things go with technological advances, refinement in steel, single engine designs, all those things sort of equate to being able to increase capacity and increase load charts. And that's sort of why when cranes get replaced, it always seems to be a slightly more capacity in the crane, but it's just because of technology and advancements in material that makes that possible.
Very impressive. And Simon, what are the change between the Lycon 3 and from the Lycon 2? I mean, we saw some impressive technology, obviously, but for you being so close to it, what would you say would be the highlight of the Lycon 3?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot to our new Lycon 3, so the new control system. So it was a necessary step for us to update the control system, let's say. The reason is basically the storage capacity and the computing power of the Lycon 2, they are maxed out at some point, which we are not far away from it, let's say. So it was a necessary step to start with a new control system, which is actually based on a completely new programming language. So it's really something totally different from Lycon 2, which in the end is a state-of-the-art control system for a crane. And we consider it the perfect answer because, yeah, in the future, there will be more digitization also with our cranes. Let's just talk about the telemetric, which is in all our minds. Of few customers already talk about it, and we, with the Lycon 3, sorry, that will allow us to have an answer to this, and yeah, to simply have an up-to-date and state-of-the-art programming at the crane. Yeah.
Wow, it's very impressive. Great video, by the way. I'm always impressed with the Liebherr videos.
Thanks.
Tell me about the Eingen expansion. Is that going to increase your crane output capacity? I mean, everyone right now around the world is struggling with, the supply chain. So how is that going to help Liebherr?
Yeah, thanks, Claire. That's actually an interesting question. Yeah. Obviously, we are doing our homework here in Ehingen, and we are analyzing the demand and the global markets and what do our customers need. So with the ongoing infrastructure projects and the trend towards the green energy with wind and all that, there's, let's say, we don't expect the demand to decrease in the upcoming years. So yes, there will be an expansion in Ehingen, but it is very tough for me to give you a number of what we expect to produce in the future. So as of today, we are in the range of 2,000 manufactured cranes a year. But as said, to give you a clear number of what will happen here, that is just for me not possible to see, because there's quite some criteria to it. So it's not only the global demand, we also have to keep in mind to find the skilled workforce for assembling these cranes. And as you said, the supply chain is also a huge topic also for us in Ehingen, right? So, but as I tried to emphasize with the pictures, the investments which we are currently doing in Ehingen, they are really more focusing on our after sales and our customer service. So with both the new customer service building, the new warehouse for the parts stock, and also the repair center, we really try to even improve our customer service, to improve the spare parts availability towards our customers. And yeah, that is, let's say, the main focus of the expansion as of today.
That's terrific. I know that Bauma is going to be in Munich next year. How far are you from Munich if customers or clients and potential clients would like to visit you?
Actually, it's not too far away. As mentioned in my presentation, it's 2.5 driving distance from Munich to Ehingen. So actually, we do offer factory tours during the Bauma. So some of the customers certainly had the chance to see that, but we are very happy to see customers again in Germany, hopefully next year. So as most of you guys know, the Bauma will take place in October of 2022 instead of April, obviously also because of the pandemic situation. But yeah, we are optimistic and happy that this will take place, and to see customers and to meet again each other. Yeah,
that's great.
And also, Claire, with that, Simon and I will, all going well, of course, with the world, we will be at Bauma ourselves for the entire show. So, and same with our Western colleagues. We'll all be there. So any customers that want to come and visit, they can either contact us beforehand or at the show, and we'll be happy to arrange tours and show them around. I mean, what Liebherr does at the show is simply spectacular as well. And the show is basically in their backyard, so they really do it well.
That's great to hear. And I hope that I see you both at the Crane Rental Association conference in Niagara-on-the-Lake next May. And then you can certainly connect and answer a few more questions for your clients and our members while you're at the conference.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm just going to check to see if there's any other questions from our participant. I do not see any. So any closing remarks? Lee, I'll start with you.
No, I don't have anything else to add, I don't think. I appreciate the opportunity, though. And it's been a pleasure and been fun. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's been great seeing you again. Look forward to seeing you next May.
Yeah.
And for you, Simon, this wasn't too hard. I know.
No, it was fun. It was cool, yeah, to be part of it. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for hosting this series. I had the chance to see the others also, so I think it was a really cool event series. And yeah, thanks for hosting us and having us. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you both for your participation. Again, I learned so much more about my cranes this year, and I look forward to seeing you both in person next May. Have a great
Very good.
day.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.